something that I stumble across every now and again, and you almost forget it's there until I have these conversations or interactions with people. And over the past couple of days, I've had a few of these where you are talking to people who are fanatical. You know, you're talking about the boutique labels, and if you say anything at all negative or questioning why they're doing things, it is the end of the world. That's just the way it is for these people. These people are so ingrained within the culture of labels that they can't take any criticism. They will not take any talking points that even question where the possibilities may lie within a company. And it brings me to the question of, at which point do you cross over from being a fan of a label to being fanatical about a label, where there is simply nothing that they can do that's going to detract from your utter love for them? And I've had various conversations, and two factions that I've encountered recently have been both Criterion and Arrow. And the Criterion seems to be a certain level of almost snobbery, looking down at other forms of genre cinema, things that may not quite fit into the Criterion bubble. And as much as I love Criterion as well, I don't like these kind of people who will only watch Criterion movies. There's got to be a question asked about that, about what the inability to escape from that ecosystem and try different things. And I always like to point out the fact of Armageddon or something like that made it into the Criterion collection, and watch them try to rationalise why that belongs there, or just brush it under the rug. It's kind of funny. And it's the same with Arrow Video. I've had a lot of videos recently questioning where the future of Arrow may lie. And to hear some of the backlash that you get about that is just, it's kind of shocking, because, well, everybody has opinions. There's ways you can put it across that's articulate, arguing your point and stating a contradictory evidence to that fact. And then there's just blind fanaticism that don't look for reason and just assume that Arrow can do no wrong. We, as consumers, as purchasers, as people who are giving over our hard-earned cash to these companies for products, I think we owe it to ourselves and to them to hold them accountable for what they're releasing. If something's not up to scratch, that should be called upon. That shouldn't be allowed to just be out there, to just happen. If the range of movies has moved away from one kind of genre that did them really well into something else that's not as well, we should be questioning that. It's not to say that the movies aren't great, and it's not to say that there will not be people out there that love it. But we shouldn't just be sitting back and taking it. We should be voting with our money. We shouldn't be blind consuming labels just because. And this contradicts some of the things that I have said before, because there are labels that I do buy most of their stuff from. But that's because I genuinely trust the few of these labels that have released and haven't really let me down. There will come a point where they may let me down and I have to think over what I'm actually doing. But at the moment, I just see this community being almost divisive a little bit, because you have these fanatical elements who write their own narratives, who create their own logic as to why things are happening, who take everything as gospel, who can't see the bigger picture, who will not play devil's advocate, who won't look at things and go, I'm not sure about the trends here. I'm a little bit worried about where things could be heading, and I need to be wary of that. I just feel it's something that we need to watch. I want to know if you've encountered any sort of instances of this where people are just so ingrained and in love with a boutique that they can see no wrong, that they will see no wrong, that they will paddle that boat over the edge of a waterfall with this label because of that blind love and trust. It's okay to love a company, but it's also okay to realise when things aren't quite right. It's okay to understand that people in companies may change their business model and move away from the movies that you originally loved. That may not be for you any longer, but it's okay to vocalise that opinion. It's okay to put your point of view out there if that's something that you truly believe in. It's just allow other people to have their own identities, their own opinions. You don't need to shout people down simply because it's contradictory to your opinion. There's better ways to argue, there's better ways to be movie fans, and it's just something that I think we need to think about a little bit more. Fan or fanatical? It's a thin line, really. I'd love to know your opinion on this. Let me know in the comment box below. I'll see you next time on Man v Film.